Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. It's good to be here, everybody. Happy Earth Day. Every day should be Earth Day. If you know what I mean. And that true little troll skin. Yeah, man, every day is Earth Day. Don't you forget it. All right, anyways, back to reality for a second here. I'll bring it back on. Anyhow, today's Earth Day, so I find it very fascinating that today we come to this one moment, pivotal point in history and time, where we recognize the value of the Earth. Some of us do. Not all of us do. And those who do, I thank you for that. And I'm very grateful for you. And I'm grateful. And I'm sure you're grateful for other people as well. But I'm here to talk about the true realities of life on Earth. It can suck sometimes. It can be nasty. And yes, there's positive things about the Earth. There's positive things about life on this planet. But I'm going to tell you a story. One time, I went to visit Peru for the first time in a long time. And I visited one of my uncles who's pretty well known in Peru. He's actually the governor of a region of Callao now. He took me in his car. We went for a ride. And he's like, isn't Peru beautiful? And I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful. I'm going to go see Machu Picchu, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go see this. I'm going to go see that. And this is so pretty. And this is so nice. And this is so amazing. And he's like, okay, well, that's the stuff that everybody wants you to see. That's the stuff that everyone wants you to talk about. That's the stuff that everybody wants you to share with the world. So he got me. He put me in his car. He took me for a ride. We spent half the day. Went to all the shanty towns. We went to all the polluted areas. We went to all the places that nobody wants to look at, that nobody wants to see. That everybody just kind of goes, hey, how you doing? It's a beautiful day today, isn't it? And so he took me to this shanty town. And I tell you, it was a neighborhood, like I'm in this neighborhood right now. And this almost miles of cardboard boxes, people living in these boxes. And these weren't like big boxes, these were like small boxes. And he told me, he goes, you see all that? And I said, yeah, that's a shanty town. That's a cardboard community. Okay? And everybody who lives in there knows everybody. And if they don't know you, the police don't even walk in there. That's how dangerous it could become. And he told me, and he showed me. And then he took me to this other town where there's no paved roads, no nothing. And he just so on and so on. And then he drove me to like this really amazing, beautiful neighborhood, and like right 2 blocks at most, there was these shanties. There's just this discrepancy between the rich and the poor, or people who have more than others, was just blew my mind. Because I wanted to show you this because the world sometimes just wants to see all the pretty things. And sometimes the world doesn't want to acknowledge the other stuff because they kick it under the rug. Like we do at our houses. Sometimes we just put things in closets. People are coming to visit. We just throw things around. Then we can't find it. Then we get all grumpy and mad. So this is my point. Earth Day's the same way. So I posted some things on Facebook today. Happy Earth Day. And you saw nothing but plastic littered rubbish throughout this picture that I posted, right? Well, the reason I posted that is because that's the reality that we live in also. Yes, there are pristine, sparkling waters in the Colorado mountains. Yes, there are beautiful beaches all over the world. And yes, the Earth has reclaimed a lot of this stuff in the Pacific Ocean and created an island. I think it was, I forget, as big as one of our cities and one of our states. But the amazing thing about Mother Earth is that she congregated all this litter in one space, in one area. She put it all there. Her currents took them all there. Okay, now I'm not here to get in the debate about how it got there, where it got there, because it's pretty freaking obvious how it got there. It's from us, the human being, the human doing. Okay, now I'm not saying that there aren't people out there not doing things and not making things better, because there are. Now, can we do more? Can we do better? Of course. But the Earth has congregated all this stuff into one space. And it's not all there. It's just a lot of it's there. But it's just amazing how the consciousness of a planet And you may not think of it as consciousness of a plant. You may not think of it. It's just like our body. When we get a cancerous tumor in our body, it congregates in one area, and then just all the things just stay right there, and it affects us. That's what happens on planet Earth. This space that's created out in the Pacific Ocean is a cancerous tumor of the Earth. As it spins around and it collects, sea life goes on there and eats the plastic, and then they die because it's not edible food, because they're hungry. Because it's not really a stopping point of nutrition. Now, some of these particulates will break down into microorganism, sizes, and become part of the Earth. Now, what happens to those particulates? I don't know. Over time, it shall affect, and it will affect, the quality of life on planet Earth. I can't say that I'm an activist by any means, because I'm not. But I like to activate part of me that sometimes gets, quiet and doesn't share. And that's why I'm here sharing that. I'm here sharing that because I find it vitally important that we have to do something. Now the recycling centers are jam-packed full of recyclable goods to the point where they have too much of it. And a lot of the recycling stuff is ending up in the landfills. And if many of you has heard in the past, for me, the story of our future and of our history of humanity will always be found in the garbage dump. You want to know anything about the 20th century, the 21st century? Go in the garbage dump. Dig it up. When the time comes where archaeologists dig up that stuff and they study the earth, and when they study and they look at the garbage dumps that we have out there on the west side of town here in Columbus, we're going to realize that we were mass consuming products, mass consuming stuff. And that's where it's at. You can't get any clearer than that. Now, I'm not a poo-hoo. I don't like Earthday crap. It's like Caucasian Day. There is no Caucasian Day, but they have Hispanic and Latino Day. They have African American month or whatever. Why do we do that? Why do we segregate? Why do we landlock, pigeonhole people into these things? You ever think about that? Instead of educating people that, every day should be Earth Day. Every day should be, Black Awareness Day. Every day should be, Hispanic Day. Every day should be Human Day. Every day is our day. Not to sell Hallmark cards and sell these little trinkets because today is a special day. Got it backwards, man. So Earth Day today is just a day to remember, right? It's kind of like Christmas, right? Hey, we just had Valentine's Day. Let's add it in the calendar, But every day should be Earth Day, every day. As beautiful as the Earth is, we have tainted some parts of it. We have grossly intrepid into those areas and left our scars and left our message behind to future generations. What can you do? What can I do? Well, shoot, just clean up our space. Clean up our area. Clean up the areas that we know. Get together in a community. Gather people. Pick up your stuff. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But don't complain and don't be that person who says, I can't believe the earth is a mess. Blah, blah, blah. And you're not doing anything about it. If you want to send money to an organization, then fine. Send money to an organization. But my point is this. The reason I post those pictures is because there's a true reality and a true thing that the earth needs our help. We did it. We dirtied it. We fucked it up. It's our duty. It's our job to make it right. Will we do it? Most likely not. Most likely not, because it's either beneath us. It's either something that we just don't want to look at. We want to turn a blind eye to it, because that's how reality is. We turn a blind eye to things when we don't want to do something. It's about everything. I was, the other day I was upset. I'm still upset. The girl got shot. This little girl got shot. This young girl. It's a tragedy that was the only solution that we had. I wasn't there. I saw what I saw. I assessed what I assessed. And you do what you can, right? So the cop shoots her. Is that the solution? Is that the way we handle things, just by brute force? I talked about in England, when someone has a knife, the police come with these shields and they subdue them with these shields and totally just take them down. Here, everything's just shoot first. And you can't tell me that when a cop pulls out his gun and he thought it was the taser, that's BS, dude. I'm sorry. Yellow and gray are two different things. When you have the gun, you're not going to go, oh, well, look, it's yellow. No, what's gray? And I'm sure they weigh completely different. Now, her wielding a knife or whatever, sure, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons. But, that cop could have shot that other girl just as easy as that girl. Will these bullets go through? I don't know enough about these bullets. Will they go through this girl and go to the other girl? Could have shot her in the ass or in the leg and, got her attention that way as well. Your body goes into this mechanism where if you get hurt, it automatically, you just go reach for whatever's hurting you. But quite honestly, quite frankly, 4 bullet shots? 4? To someone who's already subdued, someone who already went down to the ground? That's messed up. Some of you may agree and disagree, but that's why we have our brains, and that's why we have our minds to assess what we think is reality, our true reality, and how we think what we saw it is. There's just too much killing going on all over the world. We bombed, for many years we've bombed countries. And we like superheroes. Oh yeah, we liberated these people. But how many people did we kill in the crossfire? In the crossfire of making something right. How many water treatment plants did we destroy? How many of this or that did we take out for people not to have quality of life? No one thinks about those things. War is no answer. And humanity has to come to this point where they have to figure out a solution. And what is that solution? I don't know. All I know is I can start the conversation. And I start a lot of conversations online. And the reason I post a lot of things online is just to get us to think. I'm not there to be an asshole or to say, hey, I'm one online. No. Sometimes we just have to be reminded, you know what? Maybe there's something, maybe we need to look into this. Maybe we need to go dig deeper into this. Because on social media, it's so easy to react versus respond to what we see. And then when we react or respond, then we get triggered, and then we get emotional, and then we get fiery, and then we start to get off topic, and we start talking about things. I posted this thing about the Chittenden Festival, the Chit Fest they call it. And I'm not saying why, but that's not my point. My point is disorderly conduct. It's something that's happening that shouldn't have to happen. Yeah, I went to college too, and yeah, we did some crazy things. But to vandalize and destroy and put people's properties up in the trees, and maybe that's why we don't have a rite of passage in this country. Maybe those are rite of passages that were created in the settings because we don't have rite of passages in this country. Maybe the spring game is our rite of passage for some of us, and destruction of property. But remember, this was my whole point why I posted this. That's the future leadership of our country. Those are the future leaders of our cities. These are the future doctors, dentists, nurses, garbage man, McDonald worker, holistic practitioner. The next shaman might be in that group, who knows. But that's our future people. Those are people who are, that when I get old, have a lot of say what happens. Have a lot of say. Our Biden's our president. Yeah, he's really old, but he worked his way, right? He did the work, right? But a lot of us won't be able to get into that position of authority, to say. We can only just protest our voice. So here's what happens. When we allow that stuff to happen, it's because we don't have rite of passages in this country. Because we're so diverse and so different dichotomies and cultures that we come from different beliefs, but we want to create our own identity as a country. And we can't because there's so much, racism and separation and violence that the next group doesn't really want to associate with that group, or this group doesn't want to be part of that dichotomy. Or, we talk about why is racism an issue? It's an issue because it's taught. Why is it a topic? Because it's something that's learned. I don't know little kids that ever come out of the womb and, hate. We are taught to look at other people differently. And all of us, at some point or another, have felt it or done it. I watched the news on my phone, and I watched how people were responding to the protests that were downtown, how people were voicing their feelings about things. Because sometimes you don't have any other way to voice your feeling. And I saw the comments, go home, stop making it worse, blah, blah, blah. Just went on. I'm reading, it's going, as long as they're not destructive and they have this is America, you have the right to protest, you have the right to assembly. And it didn't matter if there's a pandemic or we didn't have our mask. Those people had to voice their opinion. I had to voice my opinion. And when I say these people, I shouldn't say that. These Americans, and they are Americans like you and I are. These Americans were voicing the hurt and the reality, how the world treats them and how they perceive the world and how they have been taught what the world looks like. And it's all about education. We educate our kids to see the world a certain way, and they respond to that. Maybe we need to look at all the value systems that we have in this world, in the Latino communities, the Asian communities, the Black communities, the white communities, all the communities. Maybe that's where we need to start. And maybe we're sending the wrong message to our kids that we are going to be victims, that we're going to be hurt, that we are superior, and that whatever we teach, whatever that doctrine is, which I don't know because I only know what I learned in my community and then infusing into other communities. But that's where it starts, in the home, in the family. And when we destroy and break the family or don't allow families to learn and teach, and families, we have to be flexible and learn too and understand that the world's not always what it looks like in your home behind those closed doors. Because when your kids step outside, they see a different world. And when they come back and they try to share that world with you, sometimes you shut them down. I remember my dad would shut me down. He would say some things that were just like, wow. But that's how he was raised. It was a learned behavior. So what's that have to do with Earth Day? It has a lot to do with Earth Day. Because we're part of the earth. We're on it. If we don't do our part to make this a better place for all of us, to some extent, to some degree, we're going to suffer for it. We're going to be in bad shape. Will we get there? Maybe, maybe not. I hope not. But here's the rub. If we want to see any changes in the world, and you've heard this before, we have to make the first steps to changes. It has to be us. It's not going to be anybody else. If you're waiting for your neighbor to do something, if you're waiting for your spouse to do something, if you're waiting for your uncle, your aunt, your kids to do something, it's too late. Because by that time, they're making their own agendas and their own decisions. Go to the place in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart, that you feel that there needs to be a voice heard. Because everybody on this planet is valuable. Everybody who's here absolutely has a word to say. Everybody. There's not one human being on this planet that doesn't have one good idea that could change the fabric of our society, change the fabric of life. And I'm not saying we're going to live in a utopian society, because that has its downfalls too. But the point is, we have to understand that, yeah, we're not always going to get along. Yeah, we're not always going to see eye to eye. But you know what? What's the common ground? We love the Mother Earth. We love the ground. We love the trees. We love things that sustain us. We love our gardens. We love our water, clean water. I saw a show today, where they were taking water, the dirty water, the recycled toilet water, all the water that we flush in Los Angeles. They were cleaning it, treating it, and putting it out in the ocean. And I was like, that's good. That's awesome. The only reason that they put it out in the ocean is because nobody wants to drink it. But at some point, They're going to clean it to the point where people will drink it and not know the difference. But you know what? We all share the same air. We all share the same waters. We're all connected. So the air I breathe is the air you breathe. The water I drink is the water you drink. Because it comes from the planet. It comes from the earth. It comes from Mother. And I can't say it any clearer than that. What we do to her, we do to ourselves. So however we treat her, we're doing it to us. You want clean water? Then we have to work on it. You want clean airs? Then we have to work on that. You want clean food? Then we have to work on that. You want clean bodies? Then you have to work on that. All right. I'm Iggy Garcia. Mind of Iggy. My mind. What processes in there, what rolls around. I'm not on here all the time with this show, but I like to share from time to time what I'm feeling. Ho'oponopono, matakuyasin, what is above is below. Irisikwi. It's good to be here. I will see you guys next time on one of my podcasts or on the Mind of Iggy here on Facebook, on YouTube and Instagram, and wherever social media roams the world. All right, later, guys. Take care. Have a beautiful Earth Day, and I will talk to everybody soon, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.